Of TVC Breakfast, let's talk about electricity, which is, of course, as you know, crucial for economic growth, modern conveniences, as well as the overall quality of life. But Nigeria struggles with inadequate power supply, which hinders economic growth and affects the quality of life for many of its citizens. The challenges that have hindered the provision of regular power supply in Nigeria are worth examining, and possible solutions should also be provided. Achieving stable electricity in Nigeria requires a multifaceted approach involving government, private sector, and civil society collaboration. Implementing these solutions can unlock economic growth, improve living standards, and enhance Nigeria's global competitiveness. Joining us now in the studio is the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors. He's also the spokesperson for the DISCOs. He's a lawyer, Barrister Sunday Odunton. Thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you. Good morning.
Of course, and it's good to know that, you've always, been engaging with us, giving us insights from time to time about where we are in terms of achieving, power supply for many. I was just looking at the statistics now. Well, as at March, the statistics was still saying that at least 91 million Nigerians are still without power supply. But then years ago, if my memory serves me correctly, about 10 years or thereabout, the power sector was privatized with a lot of hopes. But, here we are now. We are still, facing this huge monster. But from your end, an insider perspective, where are we in terms of achieving power supply for the most part, for all in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I was here in TVC on a morning program in October 2015. And on that day, I remember a lady, Busalami Tuashe, and a man. The issue that we discussed that day was the issue of achieving stable electricity in Nigeria. As at that time, if I recall where we were and where we are today, I can say that we have made tremendous progress, but we are not where we're supposed to be. We still have a long way to go, and I made it very clear at that time. The privatization of the Nigerian power sector, which occurred on the 1st of November 2013, was a long journey on its own. We began the journey on that day, but it will take a long time for us to get to the destination. But the destination is 24-hour electricity throughout Nigeria, which means we also need to ensure that every single household in Nigeria is metered so that people can measure their consumption. So where are we today? Today we are now at a point where we can guarantee between 20 and 24 hours of electricity for now almost 20% of our customers. When we started the issue of Band A, B, C, D, E, Band A customers are 16% of our known customers. And I use the word known because we still have challenges of energy theft in this country. And that's part of the reason why every time we try to make progress, this is also hindered and hampered by the rampant, either the bypass of prepaid meters, illegal connection, and it happens in everywhere. Energy theft in Nigeria does not know ethnicity or class of people. I've been involved in this business now for a while, and I can confirm that in Lagos State, we caught a man with Bentley in Ikeja GRA. In Kano State, we were at a place called Bompai in Kano, a very rich Alaji was caught by passing his meter. In Jos, we went to a place called Rayfield Estate. Same thing happened. Same thing in Port Harcourt. So it is not about the rich or the poor alone. It's about we as Nigerians. So where we are today, compared with where we're coming from, I think we need to commend the government, the federal government, particularly our regulator. For the regulator, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, their job is a very difficult job. They have to maintain the balance between ensuring that the customers are not giving too much burden, and also ensuring that these private companies, these privatized entities, and even the TCN that belong to the federal government do not go out of business. If you cannot recover your costs in any business that you do, that business will collapse. And the moment the business collapses, then there will not be electricity again. Right now, I receive a lot of complaints. The complaints I used to get in the past was, give us electricity, we need the light. How can we have a country like this, no electricity? What I now get is, it's too much, we don't want. It's crazy. This morning at about 6:30 a.m., a lady sent me a message saying, I have light, but this band-aid is killing. Oh. I think I need to let Nigerians understand one thing, which is that when we talk about band-aid, Nigerians should look forward to every village, everywhere that is connected to the national grid will have to be on band-aid at some point. What that means is that Nigeria, wherever you go in Nigeria, should have 24-hour electricity. And when you talk about band-aid, in your mind, just think about 24-hour electricity. Now let's talk about
you can't
cost.
just think about cost.
No, let's talk about cost. Let's talk about
because
cost.
if you're talking about village,
now,
rural, and then the urban areas.
I'm saying that wherever you go, ideally there should be 24-hour.
Band-aid is synonymous to 24 hours supply.
Yes, that's what it means.
What about the
So if you're on band B this morning, the news I have for you is that very soon you'll be upgraded to band A. And you don't have any option of saying, I don't want.
If you're on band C, you go to band B.
You will be moving. We should move the country forward. What they are doing now is to actually move the country forward. And when we talk about these bands, it's all about the threshold of availability. That is, our regulator would like to know from us as operators, can you make this electricity available to this area? If you can, once you can push that energy there, they will upgrade them. Because we need electricity, number one. And I'm sure my sister said earlier on, you cannot industrialize Nigeria without electricity. Nigeria cannot be a competitive nation, business-wise, without electricity. There are a lot of things that you cannot do without electricity. So it is very essential. But electricity comes at a cost. I'm afraid you cannot talk about any business without thinking about cost. TVC will not be around today if TVC as a station is not able to recover its costs. That is why some of your programs, I know one of your programs that's giving you as much as 73% of your income. I know that for a fact. Without that program, TVC is dead. So you need to be able to recover your costs as you invest into any business. Now, the issue of cost that people are talking about, I understand that the country is hard. I understand that this is an emotional thing, very sensitive. Our people want electricity, but at the same time, they're saying, oh, why should it be this expensive? Now, the reason why band-aid is so expensive is because the government decided to remove the 67% subsidy on that band, that class of users. 16% of our customers. Now, if they remove the subsidy from band B, C, D, and E, you see a jump in the cost. That's number one reason. Number two reason is obviously an issue of where we are as a nation. Today, Nigeria, until we have an Ajaokuta, we've been struggling with this now for over 50 years.
Decades, yeah.
Now, the day we have Ajaokuta in place, the day we are able to produce chips, those electronic chips in this country, then a meter manufacturer will not need to import anything as they try to assemble or manufacture here in Nigeria. They are trying their best, and you need to see how they are struggling. For meter manufacturers, we need to get to a point whereby we should allow meter manufacturers to obtain loan. The CBN should make that happen at a single-digit rate. What that will do, it bring down the cost of meter. Because that's part of the thing that our customers are suffering from. Then number two, if we have to import over 70% of what we use in the power sector, cables and a lot of other things, all those equipments, then you are talking about Forex, then you are looking at inflation. By the time you look at all those economic indices, you will see that the cost of doing this business is very high. And once the cost is very high, somebody has to pay for it. So that is why you now see a scenario whereby you're on band A. We started with, I think, 226 naira per kilowatt hour. Then $1, and that's why I commend NAC. People should look at this agency and commend them for what they are doing. In fact, what they are doing, which is what the federal government is doing, some of the things that the government is doing are not known. People look at the cost of tomato. Of course, they will look at the price of rice. Of course, they say, look at, dollar is now 1,702. That's what you will hear, which is right. Yeah. But there are other things going on underneath. When the band A was, when we started, the regulator, they fixed the cost. The price was 226 naira per kilowatt hour. The moment naira appreciated, they dropped the cost back to 205. Now, as we struggle with naira again, with depreciation of the naira against the dollar, it went up to about 209, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yes, I read online a few days ago, there's speculation that, it's going to go to 220 again. The regulator hasn't said that.
Right.
They are trying their best to see if they can even keep it lower. But I'm afraid the market forces, the reality of our time, the foreign exchange component is what is driving this thing. What we should all do is to work together with government as a nation instead of importing everything that we use, we eat. We're very good at importing things. Those importation is crippling this economy. We should now begin to grow what we eat, eat what we grow, make do what we have. Our furniture, our household items within Nigeria. When we do that, and naira stabilizes, I assure you, the cost of electricity will go down. The other thing that will drive it down is as we try to ramp up production of electricity. And again, I commend this federal government. This is a wonderful thing, but now we are inching towards 6,000 megawatts. I'm not saying that is where we should be. I'm not saying it is good, but in this country, I've been in this sector where we are just doing barely 2,000 megawatts. Now we are moving away from 5, we're going to 6. As we inch forward, the more we produce, then the price will come down drastically. Because the cost of generating energy, look at a generation company, the way you look at your generator, even I better part my neighbor. Once you put your fuel inside your generator, the machine will continue to spin. When you stop the machine, the light will go off. Yes. So if you have more people subscribing to it, the same cost of fuel will make it cheaper.
All right. Let's put you on hold and come back for joining us again on TVC Breakfast. We still have with us Barrister Sunday Oduton, who is the spokesperson for the DISCOs, is also the CEO of the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors. Thanks a lot for holding on. We've been speaking with you over the past couple of minutes now, and you've been giving us, some insights. Let me take you back to an earlier point you made. Yes, you rightly observed that we are having more and more Nigerians saying that they don't want to be on band A because they don't, have the need for it. It should be a matter of choice, looking at how much they have to pay. And yes, you've made a case on why it will, why it is so. My takeaway among what you've said is that perhaps, hopefully, with time, it will all balance out and, Nigerians will be the happier for it. But I also take it that part of the reason or part of their grouse is because they don't even have the meters to regulate the power supply, from their end. These are the people who are under the estimated billing regime. And so they have the feeling, the perception that it's a very, very unfair system of calculation, this estimated billing system. And so that is part of why they are complaining on being on band A.
Thank you very much. When you talk about estimated billing, I've said this over time, repeatedly, that estimated billing is evil for us as distribution companies. It is not in our interest to be estimating you, and it is not in your interest as customers to be estimated. Why? You can do this in your own neighborhood. Everybody can do this. Our viewers can do the same thing. Go to any neighborhood in Nigeria. If you see a man with prepaid meter, another of his neighbor who is on estimated billing, go and check the way they use electricity. The one with prepaid meter manages energy in a fantastic way. And I'm going to use somebody as an example now. The one without a meter, put on the light, even in the afternoon, they'll be in the sitting room, the light in the kitchen is on, the one in the toilet, outside, everywhere. In the afternoon, you see light on. Anywhere you go in Lagos, and you see light on in the afternoon, whether it is computer or anywhere, they don't have a meter. Those who have meters, always check. There is a very popular TV personality known to all of us here, whose husband is a brother of mine. What impressed me so much about their premises, as I checked a few days ago, not far from where we are here, is that they are in Band A. Their energy bill was 500,000 naira monthly. They have 4 kids, twins and 2 others, and they kept on complaining, hey, Chivaduton, this is too much. But the man went on a serious program of energy management. Today, their bill is now 80,000 naira. Even their neighbors kept asking, yes, fact. And at the end of this program, I'll give you the name, you can find out from them. Now, what have they done? They embark, first of all, on switching off where you don't need electricity in the house. Every night, the freezer is off. You don't need to put on your freezer in the night. It's frozen already.
That's right.
Put it off. When you're going to work next morning, put it on. And don't even put it on until you're about to go out. That's number 1. Number 2, they don't iron twice. They iron only on Saturday, once a week. Number 3, you don't use washing machine every day. It's a total colossal waste. Put up all your laundry together, do it. In fact, you can make do with a washman. That may look like going back in time, but please, when you do that, this washman will come, you pay, you wash the clothes, and then iron it at once. Number 3, when you're ironing your clothes, stop talking on the phone. Don't be distracted. You want to iron, switch off the iron. Every second you put on an iron, you are drawing a lot of energy. This is the way to go. And for that couple that I'm talking about, they are loving Band A. They don't want anything less than Band A. But for our customers in Kokaguda, CDA, Masha, in Surulere, all those areas,
those ones they are
Olamujuba, Agboyin, Adekunle Kuye, all those places,
yes.
Adelabu,
Yes.
they are planning to protect this money. That's why I want to appeal.
Are they on any band or are they band?
They are on Band A.
Okay.
They are grounds
they
with
don't
us,
want.
with a core disco, is that why should you upgrade us from Band B to Band A? That is like saying, why should you increase my meal in the house? Why should you increase the fish or the meat on my rice from 1 to 3?
Yeah, because that might be choking, looking at the pricing.
No,
And are they metered?
it's about energy. Yes, they are. It's about energy management. And I love what I saw in this studio earlier about fake news. What people do on social media, in their WhatsApp group, some people go there and give them total misinformation. Ikeja Electric, Eco Disco are one of the best, fantastic customer service, fantastic way of doing things. We are not where we are supposed to be. We are not saints. I'm not saying we are so perfect, but I'm saying that all the 11 discos in the country, we have been able to up our game. And our regulator is like a class captain, where they say, don't make noise, though. If you make noise, you'll be penalized. We are penalized from time to time by the regulator if we don't do what we are supposed to do. So working with them, ensuring that we meet the need of our customers, I think those on Band A should just know that the way to reduce their bill is also to manage the energy properly.
But Chief, on the flip side, tell us how, if I manage, if I don't have a meter, I only can, get my billing from you, estimating my consumption or so. How will, if I manage my power in my house, now how will it translate to lesser bills at the end of the day?
It will, because the transformer that you use, the division transformer that you use in that neighborhood shows all the energy received, energy that was sent out to the users of that equipment. And we meter most of our transformers. So what happened is that by the time they check those who have meters and then those who are on the meter billing, as long as there are no leakages. When I say leakage, if somebody behind your house has connected illegally from behind your house underground somewhere,
I will have to
and we
pay.
don't know, you are the one paying for that person. Again, the way to go is for you to go and apply for a meter. Meters are available now. And that, to me, is worth investing on. I'm not going to talk too much about government policy. I'm not defending the government, but I think instead of being political with everything we do, the government is doing some fantastic things that are maybe they are not saying it enough. Maybe people don't see it. Right now, there was a time that we didn't have meters because we have external third-party meter suppliers that are accredited by our regulator. Those meter manufacturers or meter suppliers, they had issues with the cost or the price of meter due to inflation and foreign exchange. So at the point they said, no, we are no more doing. Okay. Because they have been asked to sell meters at a cost that is less than the landing cost. They are not even talking about profit. They are now saying that if I bring the thing in at 170, you say I should be selling at 80,000. How can that happen? So now a lot of things have been done between the federal government and, of course, our regulator, the Federal Minister of Power, the Minister of Power himself, and now meters are available. I would say to people, please, to help us, so that there will not be argument about your bill, get your prepaid meter. Once you can get that, you can measure your consumption. Once you can measure your consumption, then you need to know how to manage your energy. If you are not in Band A this morning, please, you should pray that you need to get on Band A. Because when you have 24-hour electricity, you don't need to put on your generator. You don't need to maintain that generator. You go and check the cost of diesel and cost of petrol. People are talking about our own bill. It costs you 5 times more when you use your generator.
But then we only have 5,313 megawatts, which the minister actually praised recently because of what we reached. But analysts are saying that it's not something to be happy about, because if you look at other countries like South Africa doing more than 40,000 megawatts, etc. And then you gave an analogy of using a generator, refueling the generator, and then only you are using it. You pay more, but if you have more subscribers. But then do you realize that the more subscribers you have, the more burden you place on the generator, and then you need a bigger generator to, give this around. So if everyone eventually moves to Band A, we're suffering from, collapse of national grid, and then it means that the grid will not even come up again.
Thank you very much. 3 things. I'll start with the grid. I was here on Uncle Yori Falain's program a couple of years ago when I actually descended heavily on the management of Transmission Company of Nigeria, because it was the weakest link and they were not doing what they were supposed to be. That was during the last regime. And I provided facts and figures to show that we're not making the right investment. Today, the TCN has made a lot of investment. They are doing a lot of things rightly. In fact, what we lack for more than 50 years, today we have it. They call it SCADA. That equipment enables Transmission Company of Nigeria to monitor the transmission line real-time electronically. That's how you can know what's going on in your network. Now, the system collapse that people talk about nowadays, the ones that happened in the last 1 year, are due mainly to vandalism of transmission line. The last one that happened was in Nasarawa State. When people collapse those towers, of course the system will collapse, but not because they are more efficient today than they were a few years ago. And you know about the Siemens project, which started at Fabaka when Mr. Fashola was in charge, and they did a lot of work. Sometimes when they start doing this work, you will not see the result until after a few years. So you'll be giving credit sometimes, not to the person who started it, but where you get the result. But what I'm saying is that the issue of availability, that if everybody moves to Band A, how do we cope? Let me give an example nearby here. Egmi, Tama plant, is the largest in West Africa. They have never been able to use all their turbines because to use their turbines requires more investment, more fuel, which is gas, and of course, people that are paying for electricity. Non-payment and energy theft is a major problem. The moment we all face this thing and say, you know what, let's manage our energy. Once you manage it, you don't even need to steal it anymore. Once we have that, like I told you, the more we grow the electricity generation in the country, the less the price. The tariff will come down. It's a matter of time. I want to assure Nigerians that tariff will come down with time, but we need to expand, renew the network, ensure we can serve more areas and upgrade them to band A. That is the way to go. Anything less than that, I'm afraid we'll be talking about this thing in another 10 years.
All right. It's a good place for us to rest the conversation now, and we indeed look forward, to seeing you again, and getting more engagement, getting more feedback, more insights, most importantly, on this very important issue. Barrister Sunday Oduto there speaking to us on the issue of power supply, adequate power supply in Nigeria. Many thanks again, Chief.
Thank you very much. Thank you.